Email us today for a free catalog to browse all of our traps and snares, baits and lures, and much more. Get all of your trapping and predation control needs by emailing to info@NorthAmericanTrapper.com for your free catalog. Proven products equals proven conservation.
Well, it's the start of the Adirondack trapping adventure of 24. I just rolled in, and I'm here with Mr. Eddie.
Howdy.
You're gonna make me set a running pole.
That's right.
I want it set for Fisher, and I didn't even bring any 160s or 220s. I said I'm only gonna put dirt holes in, and he lost his mind. So I guess you're gonna win that battle.
Yeah, I got some places you'll like, and they work good running poles.
Yeah, well, I've seen him in action for about 20 years.
Yeah.
That's one of the first sets that when I come up here and film Johnny's stuff, that's one of the first sets that I think I ever filmed, was him showing how to do a running pole. That and obviously, I'm going to quiz you here. What other set did he show me?
He used a hole in a tree set,
yeah,
a spring hole set.
The spring hole. That was the second one. He definitely wanted to have the spring hole. Is there any beaver up in there this year, or did you catch them?
I haven't checked it. I'll have to ask him, but yeah, Johnny loved his spring hole sets. I mean, that was his go-to set. You know, shortly before he passed, he used nothing but
spring holes.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go out and give it a good try for some Fisher. I'm here for about 3 or 4 days. Gonna show you the new 330 Duke Super Mag in action as well. Eddie's got a few beaver lined up for us. What have you been doing so far? How many beaver you catching?
Just beaver. I put out a couple of coyote sets just to fill in the time, because the Fisher season just opened up here November 1st, and it's still a little bit warm. You know, I like to catch them later on.
It's too warm.
Oh yeah, it's definitely too warm. So I've been working on getting Fisher locations set up, and I've been setting some mink traps, because I like mink trapping. I got mink traps set out.
Mostly blind sets?
Oh yeah, all blind.
All blind sets.
Yeah, I never use bait for them.
Well, we're gonna go out and throw some traps in today for some Fisher, and tomorrow we'll do some more Fisher and some beaver. But that's gonna give us something to do the next couple days.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sure we'll have something to skin.
Well, you say caught a coyote yesterday, right?
Yes.
Nice one?
Oh yeah. He's already on the board.
Well, that works.
And I was glad it was a nice one. I mean, people have been telling me all the ones they're seeing are mangy looking or nasty looking. I've been getting complaint calls on mangy fox, mangy coyotes. So that's, you know, always sad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, you're going to see a lot more of that with the explosion of the populations because of the Uyghur fur market. But we'll touch on that at some other point. But pretty happy to be up here again with you, Eddie. And
it's good to have you.
We're going to go out for our Adirondack adventure here in early fall of 24. There it is. How many times have you said it? Best Fisher bait is beaver.
You better believe it. Everything loves beaver meat.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything in nature. It doesn't matter. Foxes, coyotes, Fisher, everything. Beaver meat. And we'll show you when we get in there. I've never set one before, as Eddie knows. I've never set a running pole. I've seen about probably 50 of them made in all the years I've been up here with you and Johnny filming. But I'm gonna show you my first, actually this is gonna be my first running pole set ever. And Eddie seems to think, actually we'll tell the story. Last year, if you watched the footage of our Adirondack stuff, I showed beautiful male black big Fisher that he caught in a running pole, and that's where we're going in the set. So you might recognize the area, and he begged me and begged me and begged me last year to set this running pole. I'm telling you, Al, I'm telling you. Didn't you?
I did, because there's just some poles that are begging to be set. I mean, it's just a beautiful 45-degree angle, and poles like that you'll even catch gray fox on. I've had success with this pole for years and years, and that's the beauty of them. You can use them over and over.
Yeah, but he was the whole day. He's like, "I told you, Alan. I told you should have said that."
Yeah, but I don't argue with Germans. So.
Yeah, well, you were not happy. You're like, damn it, Alan, I wanted you to catch that fisher.
I do. I want you to. I hope you catch them all.
And Eddie will tell you, I don't care.
Alan don't care, but it's fun to watch somebody else.
I was actually happy you got him.
Well, it's more fun for me to watch you or somebody else catch one that's on the line with me.
I appreciate that, and we're going to go in, and I'm going to give it the good college try this year, Eddie.
Okay.
Lead the way, brother. Into the great white yonder. Not white yet.
This spot where I'm walking into, I just noticed it looks like a fisher toilet here, because we got some droppings right here, a lot of bone and hair in it, and back here we have some with a lot of bone and hair in it, and this is wore down right here, so they very well could be coming up here and running around. They like running around on the logs and stuff like this. We're in a swampy area. I know they frequent here, so that just drives home the point I was making about coming into this same area and taking just a few fisher every year, and it looks like it's a good year for them here.
This is great. This is where we showed that fisher last year, right on this running pole right here. Runs out along this flat. A lot of pines, a lot of evergreens. Eddie's like a great tour guide. He went and got me the bowels that I'm gonna need. As I said, this is a perfect opportunity to prove and hopefully prove. I'm gonna make you critique me at the end though, buddy.
Okay.
You're not gonna walk me through this. I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna talk about what I'm doing. But I've never made a running pole set. I'm not allowed to do it in Pennsylvania. I haven't trapped a lot of places. I could have put one in here with him last year in a couple years. But, I'm just, I'll make a dirt hole or whatever. But, Eddie, you're adamant that I put this in this year.
I certainly am.
So, this is a perfect thing for anybody out there that's watching this that's never trapped. I've only ever seen this done. I've videoed it, I've seen it, and I'm going to do it myself now. So transgressing and moving that forward, the analogy that I'm getting to, or the point that I'm getting to, is that if you watch somebody make a coyote set, or you watch somebody make a beaver set, or you watch anything out there and you're trying to do this, just emulate what you're seeing, and hopefully we'll come back here in a couple days and show them that we can have some success doing that. So I'm going to hand the camera off to you, and I'm going to start to put a running pole in.
Excellent.
I'm going to put my first running pole in. I don't know if I'm going to do this in the same way that Eddie does as far as step by step, but if you're out there and you're in fisher territory, as we've shown you a lot of different times, beaver meat is by far the best. And Eddie's actually, you can tell this has been used before because he's got his wire still attached. We're going to use this wire here to put the stabilizer on, and we're going to use this wire to actually put the beaver on here. So I'm going to put the beaver on first. That's going to be my step. That's what I think I remember I want to do first. And we're going to take our chunk of beaver meat, doesn't matter, and I'm actually going to do the same thing that I remember. They slide it on the tree and they make that all bloody, and then they bring that up here and they're gonna put that and wrap that beaver on the tree right here. So we're gonna get that in there and stabilize that, and take the other piece of wire and wrap that around to where we're gonna have that on there tight. And the one thing that you have to do, you want to hide this from the birds once we get this set in place, and that's why he got those valves. That's going to hide it, but I'm actually putting that beaver right on there and tying that down to where that's on there tight now. Now, if you have some pliers, you can take your pliers, crimp that wire, twist it, and that's gonna pull that down pretty tight right there. And that's not gonna go anywhere. That beaver's on there good. Actually, we can put that one right up under, and I think we can probably do the same right here. And then I'm just gonna take the pliers again, and we're gonna tighten that right up to where that's gonna be on there pretty dang tight. But once you get that in there, you want to tighten this down to where that stabilizer's on there. That stabilizer, we're stabilizing this to the tree and making that tight to where that stabilizer is on there tight. You can see there's hardly any movement on that. I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit here on the bottom. But that now is going to afford that body gripper to be put on here. So moving forward, there's not a lot else other than put the trap on there. The one thing we are going to do, I remember the law on this. When you set this, you need to have at least the tail or a foot or whatever of the animal to get to the ground. So you can't hang this all the way to the top of the tree. You actually have to have it in an area where, with the chain being attached, the animal can reach the ground. So I'm gonna actually tie my trap on first, and he's got a third wire here which will enable me to do that. Eddie, I gotta tell you, you got this all set up for me, buddy. And we'll tie that off right there. So that's gonna handle that. So you can see that it hangs down now, it's stabilized. We'll make our trap set. Now, this is another thing, and I will, since Eddie's here, who's a master at this, do I want the trigger up or the trigger down, Eddie?
Trigger up.
Trigger up. So I want to put it on like that?
Yes.
Okay. But you can see how this stabilizer now has these little notches or whatever on the stabilizer to where they go up under and they're going to hold that trap in place right there. So we'll get this up. And that is set. I don't want to get bit by that. Safeties are still on, but that'll be the last thing I take off, the safeties. That set is pretty much right there. That's the mechanics of putting a running pole on. So if it's legal in your area, you want your bait, you want your stabilizer, you want your trap, and now it's just fixing and cleaning everything up. With that, we're gonna take the skunk-based bad medicine, Johnny Thorpe's. If we're in the Adirondacks and we're putting in a Fisher set, we better be using some bad medicine because it's seen its way around the Adirondacks. But we're gonna take a little bit of the bad medicine, and that's gonna go right up here on the beaver skull. Put that right up on the beaver. Take just a little bit more, and that's all we need on that. So we got our bad medicine, which the skunk is gonna go downwind. It's gonna draw them in. They're gonna smell that beaver. We've wiped it on the tree, and we're good to go there. Now I'm gonna take my pine boughs and I'm gonna start to basically blend this in. What I'm gonna try and do is create a little tunnel to where when that animal's down at the bottom, and he's looking up through, he can see something, and it's like a little inviting tunnel to come up in. Now, bear with me here because I've never done this before, but we're going to use some of this wire here and the trap to kind of create that little tunnel. And we're going to work that in through to where we're breaking up the outline of the trap, and we're covering the trap, but we're still leaving that little bit, that little look of the tunnel on this side. We'll take this one up under the wire over here. We're going to take that up under. That's going to cover that from the birds of prey on top. And I'm going to add just one more, a little longer now. We're going to go up under that wire again, right here. And then once I get that up under, I can maneuver that down this edge to create that tunnel on this side. So we've got the trap in there, we've got it covered, and I'm going to add just a little bit more. We're going to put that in this side over here through the actual springs on the conibear, and we're going to take another one on the other side through the springs on the conibear right here, and that's going to give us more of that breaking up of that outline. And now I'm really happy with that, and since I got a couple little more pieces, I'm just going to work them in up here in the top of the bow, and that will cover this up a little bit more so no birds, hawks, owls, anything of that nature sees it from the top. And that right there is how I perceive that fisher's gonna run right up that pole, boom, right into that beaver meat, and I'm pretty happy with it. What do you think, Eddie?
It looks awesome.
You think I did that right?
I sure do. It looks good, Alan. You're natural.
I don't know. I've learned I've learned from the best. You, Johnny. It's not hard. You just have to be prepared. How easy is it? How cool is it that I come in here and you've got the wire already on, and hell, you might as well have it already in the tree.
Johnny used to say sometimes you have to be a carpenter, sometimes you have to be a mason to make these sets.
Well, if God willing, I'm as fortunate as you were last year, come in here on the first check and have about a 30-incher hanging, I'll be very happy. I appreciate it, Eddie. I know this is one of your good spots, and I appreciate you you let me have it, and if it works, that's great. If it doesn't work, that's fine too.
We got a lot of good spots.
Pretty cool to actually, that's my first running pole set ever. Been up here for almost 20 years, and I finally put a running pole in.
I'm glad. It looks great.
You win. Because I was telling you when you're going to put it, I was like, honestly out there, I was telling them, nah, I'm not putting it in. I'm going to put dirt holes in. I've never made a running pole. I'm not going to sit and tell people how to do it. So I thought, you know what, I'll show it like me doing my first time from watching you and showing people out there that it's not hard. Go out, make your sets, whether it's for Fisher or Coyote or Bobcat or whatever. Put them in the ground and learn from it.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, here's another one of those situations that's really good for Fisher. Down this little draw here, and we found a natural cubby hole. And we've got our beaver meat down in there. We're gonna throw some of the Johnny Thorpe's bad medicine in there, but I mean, you can see here there's a pile of Fisher scat or whatever right there. There's another hole here on the back side. It's not being used as much, but you can tell that hole's been used. And any fisher that comes down through this whole bottom area, it's not a swamp, but it's the remnants of a old watershed. There's probably a spring hole or two up through here. But in essence, this is a great location. Eddie went across the street up to that point. He's up there putting a running pole in, but I'm gonna pound this in right here in this natural cubby, and I'm gonna use a cable extension on this one as opposed to a stake. We're just gonna cable extension that over to that as a drag, that big piece of wood there. But all in all, I like it, and I think that if any fisher comes down through here, I'm gonna get a crack at him. Just gonna put this in right here. I'm gonna use, I like bedding traps in pine boughs, so we're just gonna, hopefully the camera can see that. We're gonna bed that trap right here at the base, right at this hole where it goes down in. Find a place to bed the trap. I think that's gonna work right there. I definitely wanna make sure it's in there solid. I don't wanna miss them if they come through here. I wanna make sure that we're in a good spot and we're where we need to be as far as trap placement. And you can't get any better than right in front of the hole where they're going to be going in. But I'm going to use a 1.5 double jaw Duke. The new 450 would work also in this situation. The full jaw I'd recommend. I wouldn't set an offset because you catch a female fisher, she might be able to pull out. But we're just going to set this 1.5 double jaw. Get that set right there. I'm actually going to check that pan tension. Oh, that's good. I like that. So we'll get that set again. Pan tension's pretty light. That's exactly what we want. And we're gonna bed that trap right there. It's not as easy to bed in this stuff, but you wanna make sure, as is with everything, it doesn't matter if you're trapping for coyote, bobcat, fox, raccoon, fisher, beaver. No matter what you're trapping out there, you want to make sure that you have this bedded in there about as good and as tight as you can. Get that out from under. I will like the looks of that. That works good. All right, we've got that bedded pretty good. And I'm gonna wrap this cable around here, and that's gonna be taut there. And then I just take the other end of the cable, I put the J-hook through and crimp it down, and that fisher's not moving that anywhere, so we're good there. I didn't really want to put a stake in here. I wanted to just use that. And then to cover up the chain and stuff, I'm going to just dig myself a little bit of trench right here without disturbing the trap. And we'll bury that chain down in there. Take the cable there, and we'll cover that up. Not that it would matter, but I just don't want them seeing something shiny and playing with it. Just take and sift the nice dry pine needles, all of that stuff that was here. Get a little bit of more. And that's gonna be a nice dry covering over this trap. And it's gonna blend in nice. Fill that there. Bring some leaves and some boughs in. And then I don't trust these 1.5s. I hammered my finger a couple years ago. I do not mess with these like I do the 550s. I'm actually gonna find my pan and just make sure that that's leveled out right there. But that's pretty much it. That's a great set. And we're gonna take the bad medicine from Johnny Thorpe. This is a brand new bottle. Some wax falling off, which doesn't matter. And just gonna get that stick in there. I'm gonna put a little bit on the tree right here so it resonates out. And just, that's all you need. You can see I don't have much on there. That's all you need. It's just, I can smell it already, and that's going down in that hole. And then the only last thing that I'm gonna do with this is take some of this old leaves and boughs and stuff, and I'm just gonna cover up that beaver that's down in there, just so they can't see it as good as they did, to where that smell's gonna come out. It's gonna resonate. I really like these natural cubbies. I like these holes in the hollow trees. I like where the animals are naturally moving anywhere. I know that cubby sets work, and people make a lot of cubbies for bobcats and fisher and things like that. I'm just getting to a point where less is more for me. If I can use something natural, and I can use something that I know the animals are using anyway, and we got a pile of scat less than 5 feet away, and these trees they're gonna come in, run up these trees, hunt, search. It's right in their main travel way. If I can find something like this, I'm putting a trap there every time, as opposed to building my own cubby. But I'm really happy with this set. I definitely think that if one comes by, I have no doubt that we're gonna get a really good shot at them. So that's another one in the ground. Maybe this year's the year that I finally catch my Adirondack fisher. The brand is so much bigger than myself or anybody involved with what we're doing. It's the tradition of, it's that woodsmanship that these kids and even adults can learn just by being out there. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to get people involved, trying to get people to feel that. And every time you go out there with them, you're experiencing that outdoors through them. We're showing the simplicity of things, and we're trying to debunk a lot of those myths that maybe scares people away from doing it at times, thinking that, it's just too hard, there's too much into it. No, it's pretty easy, and we're going to show you how easy it is, and you're going to be able to go out and do it.
Get started trapping those problem animals and nest raiders today. Become the steward of your own land or lease. Visit NorthAmericanTrapper.com.